Okay. Okay, your logo design for the Upper 2 Sustainability Service Day. Okay, so logos. You guys have probably heard the term logo before. It gets thrown around quite a bit. The definition of a logo is a graphic representation of a company or a group or perhaps an initiative. It's Wikipedia describes it as a graphic mark or emblem commonly used by commercial enterprises, organizations, and even individuals to aid and promote instant public recognition. Logos are either purely graphic, like symbols or icons, or are composed of the name of the organization. Look at these. These are some recognizable logos you may have seen before. We just know about Target. Did not go well in Canada. So Target has used a really simple logo combined with their name. The idea, obviously, being that it looks like a target with like an archery target or something like that. Even if you couldn't see the name Target, most people would be able to identify that logo just based on basically what is 3 circles or rings. The middle one, everyone know what that one is? No one? Nike, right? The Nike swoosh. One of the most commonly recognized logos in the world. Very simple idea of a check mark. Victory, it's also like almost like a V shape. It has energy and it has motion, which is a great thing because it's related to the idea of sport and speed. Does anyone know what that last one is? It relates to transportation. No? And I wouldn't expect you to know what it is. It's the British Railway logo. And it shows 2 train tracks and an arrow going in either direction to indicate that this is a train that goes either direction. It's used all over England and the UK to indicate where you can find a train station. So you can have logos that have various different things. They might just be conveying information, like this is where you can find transportation. They might be conveying everything about the essence of a company, like the Nike logo, or they can be more obvious, related to the name of a company, like Target. So here's what you need to be thinking about when you guys create your logo. The 5 principles of effective logo design. It has to be simple. So a logo design that's really complicated isn't going to have as prominent recognition as one that's very simple. You have to think about capturing someone's attention to recognize something instantly. And if your design is too complicated, it's going to require too much processing for people to really remember it. So a simple logo design allows for easy recognition and the logo to be versatile and memorable. So some of this, all of these things interchange. So the next point is that it's memorable. Following closely behind the principle of simplicity is that of memorability. An effective logo design should be memorable and is achieved by having a simple yet appropriate logo. So both of those go hand in hand. So everybody remembers the Nike logo because it's very simple. It's also been seen many, many, many places. So they've had high visibility on that logo, and so it's easy to remember. Timeless. An effective logo should be timeless. Will it stand the test of time? Will the logo still be effective in 10, 20, or 50 years? So again, the Nike logo has really stood the test of time. And in consideration of the project you're going to be doing, you're going to be designing a logo that has to do with sustainability. So thinking about sustainability and what that will look like in 10, 20, and 50 years will be important. Will it still convey the same message in that period of time? Versatile. An effective logo should be able to work across a variety of mediums and applications. For this reason, logos should be designed in a vector format to ensure that it can be scaled to any size. A logo should also work effectively in one color, if possible. And that's, again, for versatility, to make something really simple to be able to be printed on a t-shirt, embroidered on a t-shirt, blown up on a giant poster or a billboard. And the reason you want to create it in Illustrator is because then you can make it teeny tiny so it fits on a business card, or you can blow it up so you can see it on a billboard on the highway. Appropriate. You have to be thinking about the intended purpose of the logo. So if you're designing a logo for a children's toy store, it'd be appropriate to use a sort of childish font and color scheme, and that would not be appropriate for like a law firm. So you guys, in terms of appropriate, your logo design is going to be used on a T-shirt, so you can think about again that idea of it being simple and memorable, because if it's really complicated, it's not going to look as effective on a T-shirt. Here's some examples of great logos. There's also, sorry I can't see it so well with the black on the blue, but there's also a great website down there for logos of the day where great logos are posted up there. So Slice Television, great idea, very simple, just the word slice that has been sliced, smart and effective. 639 is all of those numbers combined together, and similar to this one, just a simple cut taken out of it to make it an interesting sort of graphic. These are actually more complicated. They have more elements of like gradation to create sort of a sense of three-dimensionality and form, but they're still quite simple for the most part. Four Seasons. Have you guys ever noticed the Four Seasons logo with the tree? So the tree on the Four Seasons logo has like a winter tree with no branches, nothing on it. Or maybe that's a spring tree. It's got like snow-covered leaves and then full leaves, so it has all the four seasons inside the one tree. Refuel is a coffee company. I have no idea where they're from, but I just thought it was a good example of a logo. They've turned like the gas pump idea of fueling into a coffee cup. Gotham City Restaurant Group, it's a great idea too. They've just got this fork with these very simple two little eyes on the fork, so it looks like Batman. And then Twitter is a logo that everybody recognizes as well. Okay, the logo design process. So, number one thing is you have to look at the design brief, which involves doing a bit of research. And this PowerPoint, this lesson I'm giving you now, is part of the design brief. So it's going to talk to you about what your client would like to see. And your client is going to be the upper two class. It's going to be Ms. Wolfenden, who's organizing the service day. And so there'll be some information in here about what the client is actually looking for. Then you need to do a bit more research and brainstorming beyond that. So you're going to have to come up with some sketches or prototypes. You have to look for photographs on the internet that will maybe help you come up with ideas. Similar to the poster design unit, you might be using Photoshop to kind of edit some of these pictures, and then you'll probably bring them into Illustrator, and you can use those pictures to trace and come up with the shapes that you're looking for. So that's kind of what I mean by sketching. Prototyping is coming up with more than one idea. The most effective logos have definitely been from people who came up with 2 or 3 different ideas and then really debated those ideas and then came down to one idea and said, this one's definitely the best, and I'm going to pursue this idea and move forward with it to make something that looks really good. Then you can send it to your client for review. So this often happens in the process. You'll send sort of the prototypes along to the client, sort of the rough drafts, and that can happen between you and I as we're going through the unit. You can say, oh, what do you think of this idea? What do you think of that idea? And I'll give you some feedback, and then you can decide which way to go forward. So usually that will happen before a marketing company will actually go to the trouble of making the finalized logo. They'll get some feedback from the client. This is the direction that we're thinking about. What do you think? We want your feedback. And then the designers will go forward and spend the numerous hours refining these things. Then you'll revise and add finishing touches, and then you supply the final files to the client. And giving the customer service is if they decide, you know what, we decided this orange just doesn't work for us. We'd like to go with a red color. Great. So simple for you guys to do because you know how to use Illustrator. Bing, bang, boom. You can give them 50 shades of different kinds of reds you might want to use for their company. Here's a great example of a company being inspired by the product that the company was selling, and the marketing company went in and redid and rebranded their whole marketing campaign. So Buzz Honey was the Australian honey company, and this was their original logo. And it's pretty boring, and it wasn't very eye-catching, and it didn't have to do with their product very much. So this marketing company came in and redesigned it to be like this, to look like this honey pot type thing, to look like the nest that the bees would build to make the honey. And they've even come up with a product, a packaging design that would relate to that concept, and then put the honey inside. So a company can come in and completely rebrand everything, including your logo, including how you package your products, and then it can make the company much more successful because they have that interesting packaging to interact with. People would go, wow, that's so clever. I want to buy this. It's much more interesting than just the regular jar that you might find honey in. It seems more special. It's probably more expensive, so that drives up the price point too. And this logo is just really, really ingenious to think of the use of that spiraling effect of the honeycomb and using the Z tagged onto that. So really simple, effective, and memorable. Okay, so here's your brief for Upper 2 Sustainability Service Day, which is not May 1st. Is it May 1st? What did I just say? May 7th? I think it's May 7th, so I'll change that. That was last year's date. The philosophy behind this day is linked to Applebee's commitment to sustainability and linking sustainability to our commitment to service learning. The idea that service learning can involve service to the environment, in this case the local environment. For those of you who have been on service trips, you've maybe done service work in different environments all over the world, as well as service to other people and groups of people. This logo should represent environmental sustainability, and this goes well beyond the typical 3 R's interpretation of that. So you guys have no doubt in grade 9 learned a lot about reduce, reuse, recycle in science, and you probably use it in your own lives, hopefully. But what they want to say about environmental sustainability is that it's ensuring that the natural environment is healthy and can continue to provide all of the services, so ecosystem services, that allow humans to thrive on the planet indefinitely. So that's the sustainability part. Ecosystem services were covered in the Upper 1 science curriculum. So what Ms. Wolfenden wants you to think about is plants making oxygen for us to breathe, so the process of photosynthesis. Wetlands naturally filtering toxins or other such things from the water that we drink. Outdoor spaces providing opportunities for recreation and sports activities, which is likely what you're going to be working on at one of these parks. Insect and bird pollinators providing food, fruit, and vegetables, etc. for us to eat. And Follow the Frog is the campaign. Have you guys seen Follow the Frog before? The Rainforest Sustainability Campaign? So Follow the Frog is a frog-type logo that's been stuck on different products that are rainforest friendly, so that the practices that company is using are sustainable. The idea behind creating a logo like this is to create a logo that's kind of like that speaks to the idea that this is a sustainable initiative. Okay, so specifics. The logo or message must be positive. I think that's kind of a given. There are no expectations around specific colors, i.e. it doesn't have to be green by any means, but both boys and girls should be comfortable wearing and adopting this logo. Ideally, there will be a catchy logo that reflects the idea that the focus of the day is helping ecosystems, the environment, and how those ecosystems help us. So how do humans benefit from our help to sustain the ecosystem? Or perhaps acknowledging that a healthy environment is essential to ensuring the long-term health and happiness of people. So there's a bunch of different ways that you can go about this. You will create this logo in Illustrator and hand in a .ai file. You can use any font if you would like to use a font. However, you must alter the font by using the expand option in the direct select tool in Illustrator, which is something we looked at a little bit in the poster unit. So if you need a review about how to alter fonts, we can look at that. Consider that the form of your design can be contained within a circle, a square, a leaf, a bird shape, or a tree, so you can make everything fit into some kind of a shape. That's not a mandatory, it's just an idea if you want to do that. And you can also include a catchphrase if you want. So some of the people that have done this in the past have included a catchphrase. If you get really stuck, there's a great little how to boost your creativity exercise on this Just Creative website here. It just gives you ideas for ways to generate ideas if the ideas in here aren't helping. It's due the 17th, the week of the 17th of April, sometime that week has to come in. There can't be extensions, mainly because after you hand those in, then I go through and we show them to the whole class. The class votes for their top 6, I think, out of this class, and then we choose the top 6 from the other 2 classes, and then those selections get whittled down to about 10, and then they get sent to everybody in upper 2, and you guys have a chance to vote on which logo will go on the t-shirt for the day. So that process takes a little bit of time, and we have to do that in a grade band, etc. So we have to get these in early because then Ms. Wolfenden has to go and get all the t-shirts made in time for the actual service day. Okay? The Sustainability Council will sort of be running part of that. These are some examples of some of the ones that made it into the finals in the last few years. I think there's an example of, this is last year's winner. You maybe saw those t-shirts running around last year. And last year they were also made into those reusable laptop cases, so she got to have that as well. And that's it. Okay, so this is the main slide. A couple of main slides you should be looking at when you're thinking about how to put this together. The 5 effective principles of logo design will help you to restrain your ideas. It has to be simple and memorable, versatile, timeless, and appropriate. So those sorts of creative constraints will help you to dial back the detail in your work. You're thinking very simple is going to be the most effective thing. And then the other slide you should be looking at quite a bit are the ones, the creative brief and the specifics. And these will help you to come up with, there's lots of ideas in here about how you could go about thinking about sustainability and sustainable ecosystems. And then you could sort of make sure you're following some of the specifics on this slide as well. Okay, are there any questions? No? Trying to stop the movie.